All right, everyone ready? Mike, you ready?
Yep.
Meg, you ready? Whenever you're ready.
Picture this. Picture a polar bear and her cub standing proud and tall upon a chunk of ice in the middle of the Arctic. As you observe these majestic beasts exist in their peaceful natural habitat, the ice upon which they stand starts to melt and erode, leaving the bears barely enough room to stand. It keeps sinking and falling deeper into the murky abyss, and as much as you want to save these poor animals, there is nothing you can do about it. As the last of the ice melts into the sea, the bears slip dismally into the dark ocean water. Now, wasn't that depressing? Global warming, by definition, is the increase in the average temperature of the Earth's air, and that depressing picture you just painted in your mind of those poor polar bears could become a reality if we don't do something to stop global warming now. According to PlanetSave.com, the average world temperatures have climbed 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit over the last century and are continuing to rise. You may think that that's not a large enough amount to be worried about, but the degrees does add up over the years, as you can see from this graph. Today, you will learn about general worldwide problems as a result of global warming, their causes, and some ways in which we can help solve these problems. Many of you believe that global warming is a serious worldwide problem, and guess what? You're right. There are many problems today that are a result of global warming. The first problem is that ice caps and glaciers in the poles are melting due to the warming climate and the warming waters. As you can see, this is causing current sea levels to rise. This sea level rise causes an issue with salinity. Salinity is the saltiness of a body of water. When sea levels rise up on the coast, the rising saline ocean waters contaminates our freshwater reservoirs and groundwater, worsening the world's freshwater storages. And since there's no fresh water for crop growing, the breadbaskets of the world won't have the ability to produce the products that so many people across the world rely on for income and food. Rising sea levels also means larger waves, which causes them to go up farther on the coastline. And like that of the effects of a hurricane, coastal residents face a pile of concerns, including higher flood risk, property damage, and higher insurance rates. You wouldn't want the Hurricane Katrina destruction to happen all over again, would you? These sizable waves also cause the coastline to erode away little by little, as you can see from this map. In other words, your beautiful sandy beaches won't be beautiful or sandy anymore. Even a 2-foot rise in the sea level will eliminate and destroy 10,000 square feet of coastal land. The second problem is that global warming is causing worldwide crop failure. Global warming is causing the air in the ground to heat up, therefore causing more droughts. With how fast these changes are occurring, plants and crops cannot adapt to and/or survive without water or in extreme heat. Global warming is also causing rainfall to become less frequent, but when it does occur, it creates heavier, more damaging precipitation. Droughts then result in food shortages across the world. The rising temperatures cause these crops to mature more quickly and produce less yields. The heavy and infrequent rainfall will also cause crop flooding and damage. The third problem is that hurricanes and other damaging storms are becoming stronger and more severe as a result of global warming. Hurricanes form off of the warm ocean water surface. According to the Environmental Defense Fund Foundation, for a hurricane to form, the ocean water must be 80 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Now that won't be a problem with this temperature rise. The EDFF also says that increasingly higher temperatures will cause these tropical storms to form larger and more often. So now that you know that rising sea levels, crop failure, and increased storm severity are all problems of global warming, you would probably like to know what's causing them. Greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and the use of chemical fertilizers are all causes of global warming. Greenhouse gas emissions are by far the greatest cause. According to the article Melting Down and Scaling Up, the United States alone will need to eliminate its greenhouse gas emissions by 80% in order to reach its target level needed to stop hurting the ozone layer and the environment. And that's not including every other country that's also polluting the air. Carbon dioxide is the most prominent greenhouse gas emission. As you can see by this map, carbon dioxide emissions are more prominent in the more industrialized nations. This means that all of the utility companies and factories in these countries burn a lot of coal to produce energy, which makes up almost all the carbon dioxide emissions in the world. According to the article Forecasting CO2 Emissions, the rest of this carbon dioxide comes from, you guessed it, burning gasoline. Everyone across the world with a car is guilty of this one. Every mile that you drive in your car releases a pound of CO2 emissions. Now think about how many miles you drive in your car. That's a lot of emissions out into our air. Another greenhouse gas that significantly pollutes our air is methane. Now first, let me give you a quick science lesson. When organic matter is broken down by bacteria under oxygen-starved conditions, methane gas is formed. This process takes place inside herbivorous animals and in landfills. Since there is an apparent increase in livestock production, their waste and more of these gases are being let out into the air. All of the waste that we humans dispose of, from half-eaten pizzas to crushed red party cups, is put into landfills across the world. All of this waste in one place excretes even more massive amounts of methane emissions into the air. The second cause of global warming is deforestation. Deforestation is when industries use forests for fuel. This process is responsible for 30% of greenhouse gas emissions into the air. By cutting down and burning these trees, industries force the trees to release their stored carbon dioxide out into the air, causing more pollution. This also decreases the oxygen output from the trees. The use of chemical fertilizers has increased dramatically in recent years, and they are the third cause of global warming. These fertilizers contaminate surrounding runoff fluids. When these fertilizers contaminate the runoff, they can cause a depletion of oxygen in the surrounding bodies of water, especially in coastal areas. These areas are more commonly known as dead zones, and no plant or animal life can survive. So greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and the use of chemical fertilizers are all causes of global warming. So what are we going to do about it? Here are some solutions to these problems that we can enact in our everyday lives. The majority of you believe that global warming is an issue that can be dealt with gradually. We could deal with it gradually, but that would only make its effects worse and longer lasting. We can do things in our lives every day that will help fight global warming and reduce its effects. Recycling is a fast and easy way that everyone can do to fight global warming. Not only does it help reduce waste, it can save energy too. Less driving obviously means less gas emissions into the air, which is also a plus for global warming. Alternate modes of environmentally friendly and healthy transportation should be used, including biking, walking, carpooling, and buses. Fuel-efficient and hybrid cars are another environmentally friendly source of transportation that you should consider. Now, if you do have to drive, make sure that your car is working efficiently. Making sure that your tires are inflated, driving the speed limit, and not idling are all good ways to decrease your gas mileage and use less gas. According to the book, Slowing Global Warming, a Worldwide Strategy, for every energy unit of electricity produced, 3 units of coal are burned. And that's why saving electricity is another great way to fight global warming. Always turn off your lights when you leave the room. Turn off your TV, your stereo, and your Xbox when you're not using them. And when brushing your teeth or washing your face, be sure to turn off the water when you're not using it as well. So if you're ever driving in your car, chugging Mountain Dew out of a pop bottle that you know you won't recycle, and just remember that you left the water running in the bathroom, know that you're doing everything completely wrong. Global warming is a worldwide problem that must be solved as soon as possible. The problems it causes are ruining our environment and our world. However, with the solutions provided, we can get one step closer to saving our world from complete destruction. So instead of the previous scenario, walk, recycle, and don't leave the water running. It won't kill you, will it? Every little bit counts. Turn off a light, plant a tree. Don't let the pictures of those poor polar bears in our heads become a reality.